here at Simply Rustic by Stearman & Sons, and today we are reviewing this. It is the Lumberjack OS125 Random Orbit Palm Sander. Now, I did need a plug-in sander. We do have a battery orbit sander, which is what I use when I'm out in the van, but I wanted a plug-in one so we could run it off our power take-off dust extractor on the workbench when we get it built. So we decided, since we get such good deals and such good service from Lumberjack, why not buy a Lumberjack Palm Sander and see what it's like? So, let's have a see. You can open this up. So we are going to put this in a completely unfair, completely biased, completely pointless head-to-head challenge with our Ryobi 1 battery operated 125mm random orbit sander. Obviously pinning a battery versus a cord, it's not a very fair test, but it's the only test we can do. And why not have a head-to-head? Let's see what they can both do. I mean, there's no build up to this video. We're all built. We're ready to go, just need to put a sanding pad on the bottom and plug it in and see who fares up. Lumberjack versus Ryobi. Who's going to win? Now, in the box, when you buy the Lumberjack sander, you do get a few pads with it, just a few tester pads. So you've got a 60/80 and a 120 grit pad in there. Now, I'm not going to use those for today because I want to make sure this is a fair test, so we're going to be putting a brand new 100 grit sand pad on each of these sanders. Now, like I say, it's not really a fair test. We're pinching a battery operated sander against a corded sander, and this corded sander retails at £30, and that's delivered to your door. So in reality, this expensive Ryobi one should be beating it. But then this is on a cord, you know, this is on a battery. Got plenty of battery power left in there. So I picked the roughest, most horrible piece of pallet wood I could possibly find in the rack. Put a line down the middle, that you can see it because it's such a rough piece of pallet wood. We've got a line down the middle there. We're going to stand one side with the Lumberjack, one side with the Ryobi for the same amount of time. And then we're going to see which one we've managed to get the smoothest. So we're going to have 1 minute on the clock for each sander. Let the games begin! I am your father. Couldn't resist. I have to do it every time. So, as you saw, really I should have had the wood clamped down, but with the Ryobi, I don't know if it's the weight of the battery, but it's very snappy and jerky. It's like I'm going this way and you've not got no choice. I'm going where I want to go. The Lumberjack, as you saw, there's none of that. Again, I don't know if it spins much faster. The orbit is much faster. So if it's not gripping as hard maybe, so it's not jerking you around, or the fact that it's obviously lighter because it's not carrying a battery. But in all honesty, the Lumberjack was easier to use. Again, is that the weight of the battery? I'm not sure. But the Lumberjack has got a slightly better finish as well. Again, remember, you got to remember that this is a corded power tool, so it's running off 240 volts, where this is running just off a lithium-ion battery. So you're never going to get the same power, or at least for the same amount of time. But I am very impressed with the Lumberjack. The control, there was just so much more control there. The fact that you've got variable speed on there means you can slow it down if you wish. And just from that small, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but just from that small bit of sanding, there's a hell of a lot of dust collected in that dust box. As you can see, from both sanders, there is not a lot of dust anywhere, on the surface. There's barely anything at all. I already knew that this Ryobi does collect dust really well anyway, but both of them have got a good dust extraction there. I'm really impressed with that little dust box on there. Just take that off and have a quick. How easy does this come off? So another good point there as well, having the round dust port on there means we can just get our dust extraction on our main table straight onto that and do away with that box. But in the meantime, that box is working really well, so we'll keep it on for now. So let's forget about the Ryobi for 1 minute. 1 minute of sanding, and that is absolutely stunning. I mean, we could go over it in places and really bring it back if we wanted to, but if we was going to make it that good, we'd be running it through the planer and not messing about sanding for hours and hours anyway. But as far as a 30 quid sander goes, that has worked really, really well, and better than my expensive Ryobi one. Again, not a fair test at all, pitching power against battery, but I don't have another random orbit sander to test it against, and I wanted a bit of a comparison. So for 30 quid, you really can't go wrong with that. I would actually definitely recommend this. I actually purchased, which is dead now, a McAllister, which is a really cheap budget entry level random orbit sander. As I say, it is dead now, but that was around about the same kind of money as this. And as I say, it was cheap entry level. This is much better. You did see it power down halfway through. That's because the power button there on the front, and I was sat there holding it, and I pressed the power button by accident while I was sanding. So don't hold your finger on the buttons when you're using it, hold it like you're supposed to. That was the only reason it powered down partway through the test. And even with its power down, it still beat the Ryobi one. So, in short, guys, for 30 quid delivered to your door, that is a brilliant, cheap dust sand jobby thingamajig. Really need to write a script.
I'm being like the microphone.
Are you the microphone man? So, for 30 quid delivered to your door, that is a brilliant little sander to have. We've just done a completely unfair test, and it won a completely unfair test. I think it was unfair in its favour because we're powered up to a cord. The fact that we've got a variable speed on there is a nice feature that we don't have on our Ryobi, so you can tone it down a little bit if you want to, not that you would. Yeah, I'm going to drop a link to purchase one of these over at Lumberjack Tools in the description. If you want to see more woodworking videos, simple woodworking for simple woodworkers just like me, or if you want to see more tool reviews, mainly we've got from Lumberjack and Von House all coming up very soon. And don't forget guys, we've got the big one that I keep mentioning and I'm going to get round to doing, which is the big head-to-head Lumberjack 75 litre dust extractor versus the Dirty Pro Tools dust extractor. Both coming in at around £150. They're both the same on paper, but what are they both going to be like in a practical test? make sure you smash the subscribe button, hit the bell notification because you do not want to miss that video. If you're like me, you've got a new workshop set up and you're looking for an entry level, a nice cheap and cheerful dust extraction system, £150 for 100 mil, 65 or 75 litre capacity, depending on which one you choose. That is the only difference on paper. But who's going to win? If you want to find out, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like and share. And if you've got anything else that you want to see, anything else you want to talk about, or you want to talk, just ask me any questions, drop them in the comment section. I will get back to all of you. See you soon, guys.